Alrighty. Alrighty, welcome to the stream, everyone. Hello. Hope we get a good turnout today. Tonight was the worst work night of my life. Oh, Margo, I'm sorry. If you want to talk about it, what's up, your guy? What the fuck is up, comrades? I don't know. I guess it remains to be seen. I personally am quite sick. I'm only streaming because that's just how much I love you guys. No, these are nice for my mental health on some certain level. But anyway, we got lots of stuff to talk about on the docket. Like, there's lots of stuff that's been happening in the news and shit. I don't know if I'm going to connect with it as immediately and instantaneously as I normally do, considering the fact that I'm, like, dying of COVID or whatever. But the dishwasher OD'd. He is alive. Oh, man. That is awful, Margo. I'm so sorry to hear about that. I hope everything is okay. You said he's alive, so that's good. We want more ice, right? Like, wait, what? No. We? Who's we? Hi, Phil. My dead name is not Phil. It would be exceedingly stupid for me to choose the dead name based on the same exact letter combination that my dead name was based on. We fuck with ice? No. Fuck ice. We don't fuck with ice, we say fuck ice. I don't know when this country came so comfortable with boots on their neck, but it's an abnormal feeling for me as an American, and I'll be glad when we get over it. You look like a lady? Well, that could be in pursuit of being one, you know? Hold on. Why is my hair, like, jutting out like that? Whatever. It's fine. But yeah, no. We do definitely not support ICE around here. In fact, we are happy to be celebrating the victory of the people in Minnesota in their campaign to pressure lawmakers to finally withhold funding to DHS until some fucking concessions to the will of the American people are made. Day one of the DHS shutdown, and the country has yet to fall apart, despite how important Republicans will tell you the Department of Homeland Security is. Remember this. Remember how little actually changes substantively about your life over the course of the next month or two while these negotiations are banged out and these deals are made. Keep that in mind next time a Republican politician on stage and tells you, or a Democratic politician, because they both do it these days. Keep that in mind next time some politician here in America tells you that we have to retain the Department of Homeland Security because this or that reason. Kamala Harris is nacho president. Thank goodness for that, because Kamala Harris would just be normalizing the Republican policies of Joe Biden that Donald Trump has just taken further. After all, I do not see any significant distinction in the modern Republican and Democratic Party. The Democratic Party's most prominent forerunner, Gavin Newsom, is doing things like proclaiming Ronald Reagan Day in California and sucking up to conservative politicians and rhetoricians all over his podcast. So, the American working people have moved on from the Democratic and Republican parties. They're looking for something new, something fresh, something worth believing in. Let me take a wild guess. You live in Portland? No, I actually live in Mississippi. Grew up in Mississippi till I was 14. Parents divorced, moved up to Missouri. Lived in Missouri till I was 21. Started traveling the country, lived all over. Went as far west as Pismo Beach, California, as far east as Salisbury Beach, Massachusetts, as far north as the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and as far south as Pascagoula Beach, Florida. Or no, that's in Mississippi. Pensacola Beach is in Florida, and I've also been there. It's very beautiful. So, you can neither accuse me of being a West Coast liberal nor untraveled. What'd you think about Cali? Beautiful but expensive, and the people are kind of douchebaggy. Sometimes the people are nice. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of nice people in Cali too, but there is a sort of there's a sort of pretentious care about people that comes out of the West Coast. It's very hard to describe. I feel like somebody in the West Coast is more likely to stop and help somebody than somebody on the East Coast, but they're more likely to like make fun of them or like be gruff or rude about it. And but I don't know, man. It's kind of hard for me to get a like distinct cultural impression from the few interactions I did have in California because they were so varied, very geography dependent. Like people on the coast were pretty much like universally like friendly and cool and chill, and people in the Inland Empire kind of area were a little bit more gruff and detached and irreverent and shit. Why is your chat full of regards? Probably because I need to press the regard button. Let me see here. Turn on stupid mode. Okay, there we go. This should prevent most of the spam bots and disengaged retards from commenting. Hopefully, we will be left with a group of chatters interested in actually engaging in conversation. I subbed, you're a cutie? All right. Well, that's one reason to subscribe, I suppose. What, in your opinion, is the best state? Well, of all the states that I went to, the one that I personally found the most to love about was New Mexico. I think it's just a perfect state from where I stand. It's got a really beautiful climate pretty much across the whole state. Really wonderful people, really hospitable people. I'm a big fan of like Native American and Mexican culture, and that's all over New Mexico. There's also sort of a kind of like haunted and abandoned feeling to a lot of New Mexico that I really appreciate. You get the impression exploring New Mexico that it was once a place that had a lot more people distributed across the country that now has most of its people kind of concentrated into cities and villages and towns. But distinct impression driving across New Mexico that people used to live in smaller villages that were more spread out, less connected to each other, and more distinct in their identities. New Mexico is just desert, dog. No, 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 no. You are retarded. Holy shit, you're stupid. New Mexico is not just desert. You need to fucking, oh my god. Oh, douche chills. Oh, you're so stupid. I want to slap you. Okay, so Western New Mexico has patches of desert. Southern New Mexico has patches of desert. The rest of New Mexico is not desert. The rest of New Mexico is mountains. Like, the vast majority of it is mountains and steppes. Like, huh? Not only that, but sure, California might have more Mexicans as a matter of fact and number, but that's not surprising. It's got LA. Yeah, like, of course it does. But New Mexico's got way more of a, like, New Mexico feels way more culturally Hispanic and way more culturally Native American than California does. Landlocked state right between Texas and Arizona is in desert. Yeah, sure. I mean, you can look at Google Maps and tell that it's not, but okay. Like, you can just look at the Sangre de Cristos mountains and see that they're not desert. You can just look at the mountains of Ruidoso and see that they're not desert. Like, you can look at the Sacramento mountains and see that they're not desert. I'm Mexican. We are heavy with Mexican culture in California. I'm not saying you're not, but like, if you look at the cultural installations that New Mexico engages in, I mean, hell, even if you look at the New Mexican state flag, like, am I mixing it up or confusing it? Because isn't the New Mexican state flag heavily evocative of the Mexican flag? Isn't it, or is it does don't man, I'm getting my symbols all mixed up. I might be wrong on that one. I might be thinking of something else. I'm thinking they either have a flag that's evocative of the Mexican flag or a flag that's evocative of the Zia tribal symbol, but I can't remember which one because I'm retarded. I've not been to New Mexico, but I've been to Arizona. Well, I'm telling you, New Mexico has a lot more geographical diversity than you've been led to believe. Like, literally, I mean, I'm being a little bit douchey because it's fun, but literally, just look it up. If you look at Google Maps, you can see there's big, giant swaths of forest all throughout New Mexico. It's just, like, mostly limited to the northern parts and the mountainous parts that are distributed throughout the state. But, like, the Rocky Mountains descend all the way into Mexico, and they, like, a big portion of them runs through New Mexico. Cali has a stronger Mexican presence, culturally speaking. Maybe. I don't think I agree. I don't think I agree. Or maybe you're right, but I feel like there's more, like, state support for cultural recognition in New Mexico, at least based on what I saw. But then again, I got to experience way more of New Mexico than I did of California. I'll just be real with you on that fact. I've experienced probably 6 months worth of New Mexico. I've only experienced like a month, maybe, of California. So, where are you from originally? Mississippi and Missouri. I grew up between those two states. Zia banner. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, it's yellow with the Zia banner. Yeah, okay, thank you. I was thinking, I don't know I don't know what gave me that. I don't know why my brain does that. I got fucking stun locked between two different things, and my brain could not decide which one was the more reliable piece of information. California is the best state. If you guys could just get a handle on the cost of living out there, y'all would be the best state. Okay? I'll agree with you. If you could just get a handle on your cost of living, I think California would probably have more to offer objectively. But, as far as states that I personally fell in love with and liked, my top 5 states are going to be New Mexico, Massachusetts. Man, this one's hard. New Mexico, Massachusetts, New York State, Missouri, and probably Colorado. And I just cannot put Cali in that top 5 until y'all get your cost of living under control, man. I just can't do it. At least in Colorado, you can live rural enough and find some cheap ass place to live in. You know, even in Massachusetts, there are little pocket towns that are still, like, in theory, affordable. How many states have you been to? Let's just count them. I'll be honest. Let's see. I'll count them from west to east because that'll help. California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, West Virginia. Did I already count Ohio? I don't think I did. New York State, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, am I missing any big ones? Never been to the Carolinas. Never been to regular Virginia. Maryland. I've been through Maryland. I think that's about it. Where did you stop in Georgia? I didn't stop in Georgia even, so I guess I can't really count Georgia. I've passed through Georgia. So I'll take Georgia off there. We'll say 26. NASCAR's biggest race. Yeah, the Daytona 500 is NASCAR's biggest race, and yes, it is coming up. I don't care about it though, because I'm not a NASCAR fan. Although, you know what? I wanted to be when I was a kid. I just never had, like, when I was a kid, I was fascinated by automobile racing because my uncle was like an amateur racer in like the amateur circuit up in Missouri. And he had a really badass like Monte Carlo that he would use for racing and shit. One time he like turned on the nitrous system while we were in the car. That was kind of fun and cool. But anyway, I used to be obsessed with it and kind of like fascinated by it, but I couldn't watch it whenever I wanted to because when I was a kid, back when I was your age, you couldn't just turn on the fucking Netflix or the stream service or the internet or whatever and find whatever media you wanted to consume instantly like that. You know, you kind of had to wait for somebody in the family to come up with a cable prescription, or I'm sorry, subscription that had that as part of it. Are you a boy or a girl? A girl. He's making a left turn. Oh, damn. Man, I hope the viewers start going up soon because we are kind of like, we're in the trenches right now, y'all. We're in the trenches. What's your age? I'm 27. Chill, Professor Oak. Is that at me or I don't get the joke? Do you chief trees? Yes. What's your favorite sandwich? A knuckle sandwich. If a millionaire whisked you away to anywhere in the world, where would you go? But for just one night, I would take the Northwest Passage and find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea. tracing one warm line through this land so wild and savage, to find a northwest passage to the sea. I don't know if I'd want to go anywhere specifically, Matt. I gotta be real with you. The nomadic drive is still the strongest drive inside me. I don't think I'd be happy anywhere. I think you could plop me down in the middle of Utopia and I'd want to explore the back roads. I think if you plopped me down in a Utopia, I'd go to the border and make a toast to anarchy. What's the symbols behind you? So that's a spirit board right up there. I'm not a spiritualist or anything like that. I'm just a crazy, like, punk hippie hybrid. But I find that the spirit board tends to scare off people. That it's one of those things that if you have it behind you, people that are just like really terrified of certain symbols or that want to condemn you for sinful behavior without first removing the mote from their own eye, tend to be quite turned off by symbols like that. So it could be a useful thing to keep behind me from that standpoint. But as far as the symbols on my guitar go, that one is squatter's right symbol. And that one obviously is just another pentagram, because I just really like the pentagram as a symbol. I just think it's got a certain power to it, you know? My name is Sheldon. Okay. Interesting theory. I would go to North Korea. I just have to know what the fuck is going on. Tell you what. There's your answer. Yeah, I'd go to North Korea. Me and you will go together. Have you heard my crazy whack conspiracy theory about North Korea? We ain't got no viewers anyway. This won't be fucking clip chimped. I'll tell you guys about it. So, here's my crazy conspiracy theory about North Korea. North Korea is actually a perfectly functioning socialist state that has basically achieved utopia. And they just put on a big show of being an authoritarian, awful state so that nobody from the West tries to go there and nobody from the West tries to fucking take them over, because they're like, oh, it's just a bunch of fucked up, brainwashed people anyway. No point in even fucking with it. And plus, they got nukes and they might nuke us. And internally, they're actually like perfectly functional, and they all eat really well balanced but nutritious diets, and they all like work an amount appropriate to the needs that are expected, like, and it's just like a perfectly functional society where people work 4 hours a day and spend the other like 8 hours that they're awake just like knitting and singing songs about the greatness of the North Korean people. Yep, that's my conspiracy theory. North Korea is actually a perfectly functioning society. They just put on a big show for the rest of us. Been arguing with the family about Trump and Epstein, and it's impossible for them to see he was obviously connected. I'm telling you, Sig Source, it's becoming harder and harder to have political conversations in this fucking country. No matter what position you're coming at it from, it just seems like there are certain people that are unwilling to acknowledge the problems in the current power structure. I feel for you, Sig. I don't know what advice to give you. I just genuinely don't know how to make people see what's right in front of their eyes. There's just a certain I don't know. To me, it feels like there's a desire among a lot of people to just reject reality in favor of a better imagined alternative. Also, I think you've been age-gated or something. Should restart stream. I actually think you're right about that, Matt. Y'all come catch me on a new stream. I'm going to reset the stream. I think we've been age-gated or something. So give me 1 second.